And just to mention a few things maybe about myself, which is, again, that is my background. My background is more in the early age, it was more technical, and that's why I'm interested in TEL, or Technology Enhanced Learning. So as a Microsoft certified trainer, dealing with the picture with servers and routers and switches, this is where I start. And I started really to look at what I deliver and about the content. But then when I went to the academia and starting my master, and I looked at, it's not just what we know, but how we deliver what we know. So maybe I'm confident with the content, but what may happen that when the learner like press a button, maybe to see, like to watch something, what may happen for the students to learn? And this is where I started to try to bridge the gap between pedagogy, education, and technology. And from there, I start to look for the different approaches and looking at distance learning, online learning, e-learning, and now with the blended learning. Our session today will look at, maybe that we went through the agenda on the website, we look at blended learning from different perspectives. To be honest, it is a wide topic. So it's really, I doubt that we are all like able to figure it out in one session. But I think we may like end up that we are able to touch base on some of them and see where we are and see what we are ready to do. And maybe also we can figure out areas that we need to focus on, or maybe areas that we don't need, or maybe that we can exclude. So, and some of the challenges and the benefits as well. So hopefully by the end of today, that our webinar, that maybe like we grasp some of them. Excuse me if I'm going to overwhelm you a bit. So there might be, I would say, some of the topics maybe that you may, I mean, the time is a bit compact. So, but I tried, I mean, to list, and to cover all what we have in the agenda. But of course, I'm happy that to circulate the slides after the webinar. So I'm going to email it to Dr. Silar and Dr. Abdullah. So, and I think that they will have the flexibility to circulate the slides with you. So as I said, between the topics, some of the topics, they will have a poll questions. So before I start the topic, I will ask you to answer some questions. The objectives of the poll is of course, that we have kind of discussion together. So to be interactive, and also to touch base where you are from the topic itself. So the first poll that you will have will start by what is blended learning. So please, Dr. Abdullah, kindly, if you can pose the poll for, yes, please. So in front of you, you have two questions. So please select the first one. I'm asking about to choose between different yes. So the first one, where to choose between different models from the learnings in the blended learning. What is your current situation now? So you see which scenario that may apply on your teaching experience. And this is a multiple choices. So if you find that more than one situation that will apply to you, you can tick the box. The second question underneath this topic is why you select blended learning as a teaching approach. Why are the reasons? It may be an institutional decision, it may be emergency for the COVID, maybe just experimental, maybe there are good advantages that you think expecting, and or it's well suited. So you can see that the answers for each of the two questions, please feel free, tick the boxes, and when you're done, you can select submit. So I will do it myself, and then you do the rest, and then we'll find the result will be straight away shown for us. So if you just each one of you, please, if you go select according, of course, to the scenario. So here I will select here, for example, I have this and this, and I will go for this and submit. Okay, so this is the poll. So when we having this, I think we'll wait few minutes, and when you submit, I think Dr. Abdullah, after maybe 2 minutes, we are expecting to see the results to be hopefully that all people in the room will be able to have. So we have 35. So maybe you're expecting like this number, more, not more, but maybe less, that you'll find the bar be appear to you. Shall I?
Yeah, just one second. ما مستعني برز او تا ئێستا کە 36 کەس لە خەتە تەنها 11 کەس پڕی کردەوە. ئۆکەی حەزمان لێ هەموو پڕکەنەوە ئەو پۆڵەیە بزانە کامەتان هەڵی بژێرن ئەو پرسیارەکە. So we would like everyone to respond to the poll. At the moment there is only 12 responded, so we are waiting for some more. Let's give them 1 minute more and then we can go to the second question. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay,
and by the end, Dr. Abdullah, if I would like to share the result with the people,
sure.
Should I like stop sharing my screen? Then you share your screen, because I can't see the. I'm not sure how we share it because I don't have.
Yeah. Let's. But for us, it's a new thing as well. So.
Okay.
What about the second question?
I can see that for
Dr.
me.
Abdullah, it is already one. You can answer 1 and 2 both.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Because at the moment 17 has responded. Let's wait until a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm aware of the time. Maybe we can just wait a minute or two, so we don't. So it doesn't like take too much time from us. So please, it would be great that both questions are on the same screen. You have them. So if you just select the choices, and that would be great. So we can share it. Again, that is the reason that we do the poll. It's more to know ourselves, and maybe even for myself, to know about you, about maybe your the reasons that you are interested in blended learning, the current scenario that you are having in your teaching environment, and also that to make it engaging and interactive. And again, if you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free that we have a look at the chat box, and feel free that you can text them while we are explaining. Okay, so okay. Yeah, so as Dr. Ranj mentioned, that you have in the box, you have 2 questions. If you scroll down, you'll find the question. It has number 2 before. Do you think that will be enough time, so we can't? It doesn't take. Dr. Abdullah, would you like to share the result with us?
Sure.
Shall I stop sharing?
1 second. So I ended the learn. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Because share the result. Let me share the results. I think.
Can I?
Yes, I think I should share the screen.
So yes. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And maybe you share your screen, because I don't have it.
So share the results.
Yes, I have it here. Yeah, okay. I think.
Can everyone see the results now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, can I didn't see it.
Yes, it is good.
Okay, let me see. Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, so you can see that the screen now, it's really that my students have attendance problem. Okay, so these are really interesting results. So we have attendance problem, work and health. We have some people also that the students participate in traditional classes, but then enroll in courses to supplement the regular. That's quite interesting, but supplementary. And about why you select blended learning, it's very obvious that it is for the COVID-19 and it is institutional decisions. Okay, that's really great. Thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah, to share this with us. So let's go now to share my screen. I think, are you all you see my screen now?
Yes.
So thank you very much. So the first topic that we have, it's about what is blended learning and what are the definitions, what we are expecting from the blended learning. First of all, I'm not with the notion which says blended learning is novel. I think blended learning is started a while ago. As we see, that started with 1840 with Sir Isaac Pitman, who really started by engaging students by sending them distance letters. There was no technology by that time, but he relied on letters to send them, and he used these letters. Actually, it's a learning resource, and he was really interested to engage them and assess them based on their interaction with these letters, and also that to mark the mark and send them the marks. And the more that they were engaged with, like sending backward and forward, that the more that they are promised with grades. Then started, and then it went through in the 1960 to 70. We started really that to have to engage the employees in using technology. But by that time, the computer started, and the mainframes and many computers started, and the industry started to engage the staff by a kind of blended learning. And instead of that, they go for a specific location to learn. They were printing from the mainframes or reading from the monitors and have their learning. Then in 1970 started the broadcasting by the TV channels. So by the TV channels, that there were channels where people, they were able to attend sessions, and also they were kind of have video conferencing, and maybe like video sessions where they are able to attend the training. Then from 1990 and 80 and 90, starting the internet in a limited space, but it was not entirely for having a as we say, the proper or the ideal learning, but we have some medias, which is removable storage devices like CD-ROMs and floppy disks, if you remember these days. And the training started to be more flexible and learning. So the teacher may not should be like be existing in a physical place, but there is a flexibility to have the learning in different places. Then by 1998 and 2000 beyond, we started between Web 2 and Web 3. So the internet started to be more stable, more reliable, and people start to learn using different learning media. We had like the videos, we have the audio, we have the games, we have different modalities for learning. And with the Web3, which is that we started like since 2000, started like kind of interaction between us as humans and the machine. We were able to share, and the network started to be more stronger and reliable. And we can make a wiki where we can share our learning and do online collaboration. And that is just a quick tour that to see that really blended learning and the blend between different modalities of learning is not something novel or something that recently has been identified. It has been acknowledged and like started a while ago, but the environment, like it's a bit different. And of course, with the technological revolution, the different modalities and different environments, they started to be like more and more, there's more and more diversity. If I go for a TEL or technology enhanced learning continuum, I would go for 4 stops if we start from the left-hand side about face-to-face. We can't say if you are in a class, you are really out of technology, because there was a time where the electric bulb was a technology, the pen was a technology. So we are using in the face-to-face traditional learning in the class, we are using technology, but I would say basic, where if I'm using slides actually in a class, that is a basic technology. Microsoft Office, maybe email. This is a face-to-face and a basic technology. We may go slightly more towards technology, where I have ICT enables or facilitates the face-to-face. Here we start to use the technology and making the technology affordable, increasing its affordability to help learning. So instead of that, I'm using the word. Maybe I can use more features with the word to be able to use to try learning. We can maybe add some figures. I can import some videos. Maybe also that I can make like a speech recognition or voice recognition. Then we want to go more. This is our work today, where is the blended learning. The blended learning, because before we go for different definitions, it is a mix between the students completely, they are with the device, and also they are in the class with you as a teacher, and even when the class or when the device with the technology, they are able to collaborate and discuss the learning with you as a teacher and with their peers. So we have the mix between technology and between people and the human interaction. The fourth, the upper, like the other end of the continuum, which is just online, which I think it may exist, where you are not there, or maybe you are there, but just in a recorded way, but all of the time, the student does not have the opportunity to go in a physical class and physical meeting a physical teacher physically and the peers. This is the continuum. And that is where we're taking us to define what is the blended learning, where it is the third definition. Blended learning, really, that I would say there is not a final rigid definition for the blended learning. If I say a blend, it's a mix. And in learning, I'm mixing. And here the mix is a kind of combining different educational methods. And if you look at the definition here for Shepherd, that you can see that the combination between different environments where people go for face-to-face, where is a physical teacher in the class, physical class, there are walls, and physical content, a book. And also the people, the social context, where if I go face-to-face, the student would be able to meet you as a teacher, meet their friends, meet their like other classmates or non-classmates in the school. And also maybe that they will go for maybe virtually, we're having online classmates. So you can see that this completely different environments. The thing here, which is that maybe you need to think on, and this is the takeaway from this webinar, why use a blended learning? And this is where Graham here mentioned. Are you going to use the combining online and face-to-face to replace the content? So I have this module and I'm going to replace it. And instead of a face-to-face, I will take it online. This is a scenario. Do you need to complement? So you can see, for example, the face-to-face will be able to enable the students to remember. But maybe you give them the same content, but with the online, but to be critiquing, or maybe they are innovative in it. So I can see the blend here is to complement each other. Or maybe you go for a supplementary approach, because the main content, I'm going to deliver it and I'm going to like give all the students face-to-face the resources. And we can use some technological approaches where the students they will learn online at home, but supplementary. So it's for enriching and enhancement what already they learned. You can see that the three different scenarios now are really different ones. And that will take us to the third definition, where it is really the design and the planning design for the blended learning is really intensive in regard of the amount of effort you as teachers and the technology people they are going to give to design and redesign. So these are the some of the definitions about the blended learning. So why do we blend the learning? What are the benefits behind this? You said, in the poll, you mentioned that's really that maybe it's an institutional decision, but does it mean that there are no benefits for us or for the students of teaching and learning? I think there are many benefits. So for students themselves, I would say for the learners, it really will provide them with kind of PLE or personalized learning environment, because when the student, they go home, they start to create their own environment. So they don't have a class. When you are in a class, you give the students time and a place and a specific task to do. In the PLE, or when they are personalized learning, they really that they have a kind of flexibility according to the place and time and content. Even if the student would like to start the lesson from upside down, they are free to do this. And that will give them kind of ownership and control. And that will take us to an amazing approach, which is student-centered approach. That's why I put in the questionable here. In the blended learning, teacher-centered approach is really questionable, because you may not be, I would say, if this is the approach that you're using, you will not be really have all the power to go for a centered approach. One of the features for the benefits for the learners in the blended learning is that they will able to learn according to their preferred learning styles. If the students is really a kind of guys that they are like to learn by hearing, so in this case that they will use the resources that will give them or enable them to perceive the learning according to the given media. If they are visual, if they are prefer learning by doing kinesthetic, all of these are features. By the end, learners, when they giving all of these benefits, they really enjoy the learning because they master it and they feel they're controlled. So learners are not the only beneficiaries here, but also as a teacher, you will have some benefits for you. When we are delivering our lessons, sometimes we have the constraints of the time. In the class, I have 45 minutes or an hour to deliver the content. But the blended learning will give me the time in the class with the face-to-face. But if I have some content that it needs more time, going to the part for the online, that will take me out of the rigid constraints of the time. Also, I will be able to make, because the learning is individualized. If I would like to give a one-to-one feedback, if I'd like to have assist the learner individually, again, the online part will give me, and at the same time, I'm still holding my control and power in the face-to-face. So the third beneficiary here for the blended learning will be for teaching and learning. In the teaching and learning, it is going to be a flexible learning environment where we have the 3 or 4 A's. Anyone can learn anytime, any place, at any pace, any speed. And this will support all the activities I would like to have, and that will achieve the learning. The good thing about this, if we not sure if you know about the Bloom's taxonomy, which is looking at the learning objectives, learning what you'd like to achieve from the learning when you do the lesson plan. And you know the pyramid that we have with the Bloom, which starts by we teach just for students to remember, understand, analyze, synthesize, up to create. So the blended learning will take us through the Bloom's taxonomy in all levels. Maybe in the class, you won't be able to navigate through all the layers of the Bloom taxonomy. So that will enable the knowledge retention and also to take or elevate the level of the educational objectives. So these are like an overview of what is blended learning and what are the benefits of blended learning. But I won't just leave you with a rosy picture. We'll go for the challenges. So we can't say blended learning is the utopia of the learning. There are some, of course, challenges and I would say drawback. We will look at them, but it's good to start with the promising features of the blended learning. The next topic that I will ask you for another poll, which is, I think that you've done this, which is the model of blended learning. And I think you had this in the first question in the poll, where the model. Blended learning is not one size fits all. It's not just a mix and a combine and we go, okay, this is a online, this is a face-to-face, here we go. There are different models of blended learning. And your task as a teacher, and even on the institutional level, we need to make a wise decision about which blended learning model is the right one. You may go for one, you may go for more than one, you may customize the one that you are going to use. There are many ways to blend different scenarios, and according to the scenario that you have in your teaching, and maybe also if you're teaching more than one module, you may go for a way to blend one, and you may use a different one for another course or another school. So if we look at the continuum, according to different reasons, which part of it, is it going to be fully online? Is it going to be more face-to-face? Are you going to give more face-to-face or less online, or the other way around? What about your learners? Are they more independent, or they are more, if we say, spoon-feeding students? So again, all of these questions, you need to prepare the answers. And based on this, you are going to select from the menu. The menu is quite long. Bear with me that if there are lots of that I'm going to say about the models, but again, of course, that you can explore these models later, and I can send them to you, but it's a menu that you need to select from. So the main models for blended learning, you can see that they are divided between two scenarios, or I would say two main elements. The brick and mortar is an expression when you are going to go for physical learning. So we have the option that I have classes for the students. So they are going really, I'm able to provide my students with face-to-face. And underneath this, we have the rotation model. Rotation model is one of the well-known models in the blended learning. We have also the flex, and we have the self, and we have the enriched virtual. Let's go for them. Maybe I will try just to, maybe you won't spend too much time on each slide, but it's just have an idea about them, and then you can read. The only thing I would say, for each model, there is a condition, or there is a situation that to go for this model, and each model has pros and cons, advantage and disadvantage. So before you select the model, you need to know what are what are the benefits for using this model, and what are the disadvantages of this, because there is no perfect model, by the way. First of all, we go for the rotational model. The rotational, when I say something rotate, it means that I'll keep moving the students between different scenarios. And you can see that for each single model in the blended learning, there is a teacher, and there are resources. The resources can be online and offline, or one of them. Also, for you, if you're going to go for one of these models, some models you need a person to help you called a paraprofessional. Paraprofessional is a person who will know about education, know about the lesson plan, sharing your lesson plan with you. Maybe is not a person who has like in-depth knowledge about the content, but they were able to help you. You may select this like a moderator, maybe select this person as, you can select this as one of your more able students, but some of these scenarios, you will not be able to manage it on your own. And according to the plan, you'll find always the teacher is the purple icon, and the paraprofessional will be the light green one. If you have online in the scenario, you will have it like the gray, like a computer. And the offline, when I say offline learning, it means that maybe the student has a book, or they are not online. So they maybe have any kind of something to read, to Kindle, but is not online. Some of these also models that you will be able to have them suitable for large classes, and others they are not suitable for large classes, they'll just be applicable for small classes. So the station-rotational here, it is a model where you are, if you are going to have, you're making the students in groups. We call it a station, and you're asking that the students, they are like keep moving between these. So the students will have 3 learning modalities. The first one, the student will be exposed to maybe online learning. The other station will go for face-to-face, and the third one will go for a group project. All of these that they can be for one module, but the student will be able to do this. This scenario can be used if you have a large class and you have small number of computers. So you can have this by like dividing the work between them. So now you go for this online, then a face-to-face, and then we go for a group project with your colleague. We use this if the students, they are grouped according to the learning style. So I have some of the students, they really like YouTube videos. You can give them, okay, the station is going to be more visual resources. This about the station, we'll get back to the station rotational. We are going to use it later for the large class number. Another rotational model, but it will work with the lab. Just to mention, the station rotational model, still all the students, they are working in the same classroom, but they keep rotating according to the learning modality. The next one is the lab. Lab, the students, they are starting to move across the campus. When I say across the campus, that means even if they will go online, they will move between different sources of information. The students, they rotate out of their classroom to a learning lab, for example, 2 hours each day, for example, for math, and then they go for another reading. So here they are physically rotating, and the rotation will be based on a fixed schedule. So you can individualize the learning. You say, okay, you are going to have a fixed schedule, 2 hours, for example, online on a specific topic, then you are going to move to another one from another 2 hours for another location to have different learning resource. So the difference here between the lab and the station is the station is within the same content, and they are moving between different modalities. But here, maybe the student can move between even different parts in the campus, and they are moving even between different topics. The third model, which is the most interesting one, is the flipped classroom. Flipped classroom, which is really, it's one of the promising models that when you are flipped the learning, normally learning start in the class, and we take the e-learning further when they go online. But here you are able to make a flipped. You can see that in this model, the role of the paraprofessional disappears. You don't need anyone with you. You'll have yourself, offline resources, online resources. But the role of the group work and the students and the teamwork will be here, will appear. So the students will like make a selection, or they may start studying at home using the online resources, and they go back in the class to discuss what they learned at home. And then they go back home to reflect on their discussion. I'll show you, because this is one of the interesting ones. I'll show you this. This is just more an example of a flipped classroom. You can see that on the left-hand side, the student, they started before you just post some resources, and the students will prepare to participate in class activities. They keep reading, and maybe that if you have pre-recorded session that you have it, so they will prepare. The time when the student in the campus, when they have the face-to-face, you can give them like they participate in discussions, and they can discuss their finding from studying at home. After that, the student will go back again home and start to reflect on the learning and amend. Maybe the student like read some content, and when they discuss with their peers, they start to reflect, and maybe like they take the learning like differently, or maybe take the reading like more in depth in some points. Again, this is again for the rotation. So we said there is kind of a rotation, and the rotation is a self rotation by the stations, and also rotation by the flipped classroom is a kind of rotation, and also the lab rotation. The fourth type of the rotation, it is the individual rotation. Individual rotation, it is a fixed schedule among learning modalities. So you make like a schedule for your learners. At least one of these, it has to be online learning. So you can't like take the students away from the online, but some of it is going to be online. They don't need really that necessary that to rotate to each available station. So maybe that they can like move between them. Here you can see that the paraprofessional that start to appear again. The more that you give offline and they are in the campus, the more that you have a paraprofessional. For example, that I gave an example, you can assign each student a time, like 35 minutes between online learning, and you can give other number of minutes in the offline. Maybe that you take this for all the students or some of the students. If you find some of students, they are really interested in reading and they are more taking the work independently more than the face-to-face. I have some of my students, they get bored when they are in the class and listen to a long lecture. This student, maybe I give them less time by individualized rotation, less time face-to-face and more time for the online. The other one, which is a la carte model. A la carte model is quite, the name came from the restaurant way. When you go for the restaurant and you really you don't want to be applied for a specific menu and you ask the waiter, what is the a la carte? A la carte, it is what you have in your list. This model for the blended learning, it will go for the students when they have a specific learning needs. Students who already know that they have something missing or something like a need. They say, guys, really, I have like some of the topics I'm really struggling with. I would like to know more about, for example, some of the rules of the physics or something with the lab. And so the students will take his needs, learning needs, and start to work on this and start to find which modality that can help him or her to work on this area of improvement. You can see this if you look at the model, we have here a cyber lounge, because the students will take the learning needs and start to discuss and start really to find out what are the resources, of course, with your facilitation as a teacher. The other one, which is a flex model. Flex model, it is a really high level of blended learning. In this one, you need the part of when the students are in the campus. They and it's really existent. One, I've seen it in one of the universities where it was a big hall, and the students were scattered, working in groups, and the team and the teachers, they were making the departments in like small sitting areas. So you can see like the social science group, physics group, computer science group, each group together as teachers and educators. And maybe they can have like a router between them. And when the students, they start to look for and discuss what they need, and when they have a question, they go to the department where it is the sitting area for the teacher, and they ask them. And this really, it's really nice, but the only thing with this is that you need to have a space. So the universities that I have seen this model, they have a big lounge, big reception, and where the students, you can find them in groups, and also another section where the teacher, they are together according to the department. So if you have the time schedule for this stuff and you have a space, the flex model is really the good opportunity that the student, they can work on the learning using their own laptops. The final model, I know that maybe that's too much, but the final model, which is enriched virtual model, this is just online. So even the offline, but there is no here like a face-to-face here, but you take them a very using technology and a very technological route and it will work well with a large class number. So the students that they take all the content more online, and very few in not a face, but even the face-to-face, they will rely on recorded resources, rely on the library. They have this, but in the school. So what we have seen now, these are different models of the blended learning. Which one you'll go for? There are different reasons. You can see some of them, they are intense online, less face-to-face. Some of them, they are relying on the students' preparation and the students' perception themselves. Some of them, they're really the students to be highly independent. Bear in mind that some of our students are more relying on spoon feeding, and in this scenario, some of these models, they may not be applicable. Some of these models may work well for a large class number, and other they work maybe less for a large class number. Others may be that the model is perfect, but maybe the institutional preparation does not support the model that you're looking at. That's why it is not one size fits all. Each model, as we mentioned before, if you go for this model, study it well according to the pros and cons and what exactly you need, and if this model be able to help you and you find the needs that you need for your learners. We go now for the third title. What about the role of the teachers? What is your role as a teacher? And here I think there is a poll, Dr. Abdullah. That would be great if you're able to give the poll. I think we have more people in the room now. So, so there is a poll now that you will have, and where it's going to displayed in front of you. And the poll, it's a question. It will ask you about this topic. Dr. Abdullah, do you have the poll ready, please? So it won't take, I think it will take like a couple of minutes, then we answer them. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So is it online? I'm not sure. Is it a Google Doc? Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll take this away from here. Yeah. So this one is, I think it's not a, I think it's a Google Doc now. Okay. Okay. So I think on the chat box, you will have the technology and learning. You have the poll in the Google Docs. So please, it's not in English, so I won't be able to help you. So if you please just select the answer from the form, and that will give us the result. The objective of this poll is to give you an idea about the next topic, and also it will be great because it will give us kind of a graph how your answers are about the topic. So I'm not sure, Dr. Abdullah, if you're able to, after, we'll give you like 2 minutes to just please, the link in the chat box, follow the link. You have 4 choices, select from them, and then press submit. And then if you're able to show us the result, Dr. Abdullah, that will be great.
Shall I do the second poll or?
Yes, please.
Second poll, sure.
I thought it's there's something in the Google Doc, which I thought it's there.
Ah, is there? No, I've just put in the.
Okay, yes, please. Yes, please.
There we go.
Yeah. So please, you have this in front of you. Again, this is the first one. Is that choose between different models? There's then the second one. Do you have it, Dr. Abdullah? Because this one, I think the first one.
Is the second poll to choose between different polls of blended.
Okay, and because this one was already on the first one, they have been given this. So if you go to the third one, then maybe.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In my teaching practice, what you do in your teaching practice, do you provide, I provide my students with learning resources, receive students' feedback, frequently reflect, coordinate students, collaborate, collaborative project for group work, encourage students to generate questions. I assign various resources for students. So please select all, this is a multiple choice, select all the answers that you find them like fit with the new teaching practice. There is no right or wrong, just that will help us to lead us to the next topic about the role of the teachers. So it would be great that if you just tick the box and select your answers, please. That would be great. I don't want. I will do mine, but I won't show you the answers. Okay, so when you select your answers, just to press submit. And after we leave it for maybe a minute, it shouldn't take time. Dr. Abdullah is kindly that will show us the result. It's really helpful that even to show us, share between us how we are having our current experience.
Shall I share it now, or shall
I how many respondents you have? Because it doesn't.
31 out of 47.
Okay, I think because I'm aware of the time, so let's go. Yeah, that would be great if you share it with us. That would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Do I need to stop sharing my screen or?
There we go.
Okay, all right, that's really great because so we have high percentage of the people who responded to the poll that they provide the students with all learning resources they need. I would just look at the predominant and the least one, and the least one about the feedback and reflect upon them. And that's really great. So it's really great because that will be thank you very much, Dr. Abdullah. That's really great because by this that we are seeing that how our look or how our perception for the role of the teachers. So in the role of the teachers, really, that I think role of teachers really that you are or we are wearing different hats in the blended learning environment, and you're asked to do lots of things, and your role that you start with technology support, education support, sometimes really the social aspects and the behavioral attitude support. You can see that, bear in mind that although you did not do the technical bit of the online work, but the contact most of the time will be with you. So even introducing part of your work that you are the learning designer for, because you are designing it. And if the student they struggle with something, most probably you are the first point of contact. So you are going in the blended learning. You need to really, as a rule for you, that you are going to wear different hats. You are going to give the learning designer, even if you are not really with the technology, but I'm always looking at there is a gap between technology and education. People who are developers working with computer programs, they know nothing about how people learn. They just know the tool that will help people to learn. So you are designing, you say, yes, I will use group discussion because this is a design, because that will help my students to be able to discuss and reflect. I will use problem-based scenario because that will enable my students for critical thinking. So this is all learning this design approach. Also that from the educational bit, blended learning really that you need to give the students skills to go for the deep level of learning more than the surface level of learning. When I say deep learning, if in your teaching you will get your student to accept the ideas, just an acceptance, or that you are attempt to store them in an isolated condition, so they're just keeping their information to themselves, they don't interact, engage. This is a superficial learning. You need to take them to the deep learning by facilitating the content, by helping them to answer the question, not giving them the answer. Excuse me. You need to always encourage them to examine the facts, to think critically about what they learn. Also try to take them in, to make sense of everything and link the topics together. You need always, in the blended learning, we don't answer the question. We show them to guide them to where to find the starting of the answer of the question. This is by the facilitation. You are mentoring, supporting them. If you are going to give some learning resources, you are going to help them like make a group discussion. And they maybe that you need to assign the task, because you know your learners very better than sometimes that they know themselves according to the educational bit. You start to select what is the platform or the environment you think is good for them to work online. What kind of group work you are going to give them. How you are going to assign the tasks for each one of them. Who will lead the task? Who will report the task? Who will, for example, do like the hands-on experience? All of these are your work. So you can really find that your job really is helping people that to learn by different hats, between facilitation, between learning, between technology, and even between being a coach and a tutor with the content knowledge. This about your role with the blended learning. Let's go for the not really pleasant part about the challenges in blended learning. And this is, please, again, another poll, Dr. Abdullah, if you just, it's the fourth one about the challenges in blended learning, will be great. What are the challenges that you think that you will be confronting in blended learning? Because the more that we are aware of the challenges, thank you, the easier that you can find solutions. So if, again, these are like a multiple choice, so if you're just tick the boxes, and it would be great that we are 50 now in the room. It would be great that we, all of us, if you are going to able to tick the boxes and answer the poll, great to share the experience with this. Of course, identifying the problem or the challenge will be a good start to solve the problem. Okay, I have something here, so I'm going to answer mine as well. So you have the challenges that you have. It can be lack of the CPD or professional training programs. Students are not prepared. Resources, technical infrastructure, lack of technical skills for us as teachers, workload, and of course to design. Or maybe that you think blended learning, actually, it is not really according to the discipline you are teaching, is not the successful one. So you can, again, that you are tick more than one box. We leave it for a minute, and then we see the result of the poll for the challenges.
Dr. Nashwa,
Yeah.
just to give you an idea, it's been about nearly an hour. So,
okay.
So hopefully about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, I will try to. Yeah. Okay.
Questions.
Yeah. So if you, how many respondents that we have?
30.
Okay, maybe we can, so yeah, we can end it now, because maybe I'll take like 5 minutes for this and maybe 5 minutes for the last topic.
Sure.
So yeah, what is the result now?
Okay, yes, and the result and the poll.
Okay, student preparation is a predominant, it's very interesting, predominant factor here. I'm pleased that, because I found this, that blended learning you find unsuccessful, it's 29%, which is not really bad, and lack of teachers' technical skills. Okay, that's quite interesting. I'll be a bit quicker now because I'm aware of the time, and we go for the challenges, and I'll go for a proposed solutions. These are some of the challenges, but I will go for solutions for some of these. Main about too much too soon, and looking how like the misdirected strategies. So the first one I will go for about the traditional mindset, which is, it's part of it, the you students that are not ready. And you need really that you prepare the students to be ready to receive the blended learning. They need to buy it. So you need to be a good seller for what you are having. Otherwise, they won't be able to receive it. The other thing is about too much too soon. Do not be like willing, or like we don't use everything we have in technology. So we don't overwhelm the students by picking lots of technological. We just need to know what exactly we need to deliver to be able, just they pick or they take what they have, because too much technology is not really a learning thing. But and also sometimes we give the technology while it is not supported at the student's end. So take what exactly will help you to achieve the learning outcomes. Misdirected strategy. Again, this is a point I mentioned before. As a teacher, you are the first point of contact for the students. So you need to make direction, prepare a map for the students, and explain to them how they are going to find the resources, where they are going to meet up if there is a social online social platform. Try also that to make which part also about you are going to give a face-to-face, which part will go for online, which part is going to be independent learning. All of this that you need to design it and make sure the students, it is clear for them that where they found these resources and how to reach them. Another challenge, it is blended learning. You have different elements, how to group them. So try to use the LMS or the learning management system you have, and try to make a map for the course, which is, we call it a storyboard. Have it clear for yourself to make it clear for the students. Include links for the resources, where to find technical support, frequently asked questions, the schedule for the course, all the information. Try to make it clear, obvious, and well spotted for the students that will help them to get engaged with your course. The last thing is about assessing the learning progress, and all the time try to assess the learning progress. Try to find like a learning analytics for the how they are going, they are engaged, how they are study, how much they spend. There are lots of information behind this. Be in contact with the technical team, because they are able to provide you with this information that will help you to track the progress of your students. Important thing about the blend. What is the right mix ratio? Unfortunately, there is no right mix ratio. There are different factors will lead to the mix ratio. Should I go for blending 4:1, 2:2, 1:3? There is no right mix. Maybe you would like to go for 2 and 2, 2 online, 2 face-to-face, but this is not the right, because maybe the infrastructure is not ready. Maybe we'll go for 4:1, but maybe the content needs more face-to-face. Maybe you would like to go for all online, but you students are not ready for this. So there are different factors you need to specify that will help you to do the right mix. But if we say, before we say blended learning, it has a fixed ratio, but now it is not a fixed ratio anymore. Answer specify the factors, then you will be able to reach to the ideal blend mix for you. The last thing here, not the last, the one before the last, which is about large class number. If you have a large class number, you need to have some tips. For the technology, there are like some tips. You have a learning management system. Leave the technology help you. So you can automate lots of tasks. You can schedule like appointments and the timing, and schedule, automate some of the initiation of the tasks that you're doing. You can have like data mining. Data mining will help you to know what is the discussion of the students. Again, this is with use of technology. For the students, try to give them the group work. Not everything lies to you. Give them like think, pair, and share. Leave the students to speak together, and they share their ideas, and then they reflect back on the findings. So leave them to take the whole journey from thinking to sharing up to reflecting. Leave them to do a peer review. They review to each other as well. So all of these, like some tips that will help you to save your time and help to give the blended learning its main core, where the student will be like master and control their learning. And for you as a teacher also, that you show, don't tell. If you'd like to show an example, you may not need to explain it. If you have like an assignment or maybe a model that you'd like to follow, leave it to them to read. Read this, don't tell, just show and give it to them, and they're going to reflect on this. For the assessment, use a rubric assessment and leave it to your teaching assistant. If you have a teaching assistant, they can follow it. All of this can save your time, because really we're all overwhelmed and we have lack of time. So I think with the use of technology and use the design, that will help you to this. If we get back to the models I mentioned before, one thing about the model, one of the models we mentioned, it's the rotational, about the station one, the mirror the station rotation. You can, what I would like to say is that you can mirror the station. When I say mirror, it means that each model you create two. One of them, you are going to handle it, and then the group, the one that you are handling it, can pass this information to the other one. By that way, if I'm going to have for this course 6 stations, they can go to 3 because they can mirror each other. You can use this for different models, but one of the most successful one is a mirrored station. I know that because of aware of the time, just I will go for the last bit for planning. What to do next. In the what to do next, I would like to mention 2 things. Plan and clear. Planning and clarity are very important. Please, if you go for a blended learning, plan what level of engagement you need your students will go to. Don't go for over optimistic or very basic. Make the blended learning social. That will leave different benefits, achieve different learning objectives. Make things very clear for the students that will help them to get engaged. They will not distract. They will not go overwhelmed. For the planning, if you have the students like they are struggling with the online, you can make a good mix where you can give more face-to-face or leave like a team leader who can guide the rest. And finally, if you go for the steps of blended learning, start with your buy-in. You need to have your students and your team buy your blended learning approach. Then do the learning objective outcomes. As educators, we need to have this clear for us on a piece of paper before even we approach any technology. Then develop your own skills and knowledge according to what you would like to achieve, like educational approach. Then you go to technology, which is one of the challenges. After that, you will plan and create the resource. You can see the planning and creating resources for blended learning came step number 5. You can't go for the planning before you go for the design and developing. Then we go for the assessment evaluation, introduce the course, then find the feedback. So frequent feedback from all the users will help you to revisit some of the learning objectives and the design. We used it in a project before that you can go. Thank you very much. And